Hi, Amanda from Avatar Uncovered. And today I want to speak to you about fear, guilt, and Avatar. So fear and guilt is something which is used within cults anyway, and deceptive business practices. So, and also things such as abusive relationships and other circumstances. But today I specifically want to speak to you about it with regards to Avatar and how fear is used within Avatar to keep people moving along the path. So before I go into that a bit more, I want to speak to you more about the true intentions behind QMs and trainers and even AIs. And even I began to see this happen to me, and I was considered to be a junior advanced intern. So I was in the advanced intern program, moving towards the path of QM and trainer. So the true intentions of QMs and trainers, it's not what it is perceived to be when you have taken a compassion card, or you have done an info hour, or you have come across the resurfacing workshop. So you'll be led to believe it's to do, first of all, with compassion. You'll be led to believe it's to do with belief management and things and techniques which can actually help you within your life. Actually, the intentions of QMs and trainers are to awaken you. So the whole belief held behind the scenes, and when courses aren't ran, or where they are ran but we're having meetings and get-togethers behind the scenes, it's about awakening humanity. It's awakening beings. And as we're keeping you, the student, going along the path, it will be about awakening you. So you're no longer asleep like everyone else who's outside. So that isn't upfront. So this is not told, for example, with regards to infiltration that is currently happening within schools. This is not told within infiltration that's happening within corporations and business networks, or I've seen even within Google recently when I've been looking. So this is not told. Their intentions is not belief management. That is a way to rule you in, to give you a good experience, especially with the 2-day workshop, resurfacing workshop. Their intentions is to awaken you. So you need to realize the true beliefs of the group. The beliefs are to awaken humanity, to create an enlightened planet at a higher level, to create an intergalactic civilization. So their beliefs get more and more complex. This is even hidden from a lot of the Avatar masters as well. So when a QM's on the phone to you, or they're talking with a trainer, straight away their intention will be to get you to the Wizards course and eventually to get you to commit to the path. And if you're seen as fertile and you're seen as ripe for being part of the group, the advanced intern program as well. So I would say, like, not only is their intention to awaken you, but there's a lot of sifting and sorting going on from the moment you step into the world of Avatar. And this is exactly why some people may have one experience and another person will have another experience. Some people will feel more pressured than others. Other people will be more love-bombed than others. It depends on your personality, how susceptible you are to hypnosis, how susceptible you are to buying into the whole enlightened planetary civilization. There's so much going on, and so much which happens with all cults. So it is not what it seems at the beginning. And I say this really passionately because we're at a time when there's a lot of recruitment going on at the moment. There's this whole agenda of creating 1 million avatars. I've seen already the campaign for Wizards 2020. So QMs and trainers will be working towards that goal. They'll be working towards Wizards 2020, and they won't be honest with you about that at all. And you have all the love bombing and hearts and balloons and love and care at the beginning, especially the beginning courses. And this begins to disappear the more you go through the advanced courses and the more you become part of the group and buy into this whole agenda. So I'm not criticizing beliefs either. When I went into Avatar, I had firm beliefs in extraterrestrials, and I was part of a UFO group, and I probably bought into it quicker because of that. That's also how I knew more about the beliefs of the group as well, because more higher up masters were willing to tell me those beliefs because of my beliefs. So I'd already been part of the New Age movement for years before that, and so that's how I managed to see more of them. But do understand that the beliefs of the group change as you get further in, not just the advanced courses, but as you then come into the advanced intern program, then you're a junior advanced intern, then you're a tweenie, then you're advanced intern, then you're a QM, then you're a Stars Edge intern, then you're a Stars Edge trainer. So this path is way beyond what is shown to the public, what is even shown to the Avatar Masters. And again, it depends on on you as a person and how important you are to the group. And again, this is why some people will get dumped early on. Some people will be important just in terms that you'll keep the agenda going. You know, you'll be giving money and paying up for other courses. Or you may be more important because you'll be seen as someone that could be a good recruiter. They'll kind of package that up as though it's your full potential. But actually it's because you're really good on the phone, or you're really good at convincing people, or you have the business skills, or maybe you have the connections that they really want. Or maybe you come into the group with inheritance, or you have connection with family that have inheritance. So, and they know they can exploit that later in the group. So, yeah. So I'll just get on to, again, the part of fear. So you'll be undertaking the resurfacing course. Many people speak about how that is quite empowering, but how even when you get to the end of resurfacing and start moving into the Avatar course, you'll start to feel the manipulation come in, and you'll start to feel that if there's resistance, you have to work through that resistance no matter what. I could go on and on with this part, but I'm going to leave that for now. But just that, there's that subtle change. Now, then you'll move on to the Avatar Masters course. Then what they don't tell you at the Avatar Masters course is that you'll have to intern. You can't take the Avatar Masters course and then deliver Avatar. You'll have to intern, and you'll have to go to a cooperative to be able to run Avatar. And there'll be strict controls straight away from then on. And it's not transparent. It's not transparent how you have received certification or not. It's very manipulative. So it starts from there. Now, towards the end of the Avatar Masters course, you'll be asked to intern. And straight away, the fear is put into you. And I saw this happen all the time. And I just fell for it really easily, because I was, after I did the Avatar course, which I found extremely difficult and stressful, it took me 12 days. I literally had to have everything stripped down in me to be able to get through the Avatar course. And what really sort of kept me going was that I did fall for the fluffiness. I fell for the love, precious humanity. I fell for the enlightened planetary civilization. So when you're doing the Avatar course, Avatar is way more than what I put on the website in terms of their materials. Every day we have to watch Harry Palmer's videos, which if you go to Avatar's YouTube channel, you can watch some of those. So every day we're sort of whilst we're being tranced out, whilst we're undertaking all these hypnotic exercises, we're also listening to Harry Palmer's talks, and we're slowly being brought into his beliefs and the beliefs of creating this enlightened planet. And that's what I really fell for. That's what really hit me, because that was something that I was finding very frustrating in life. So I was finding it very frustrating that I was looking around me and seeing a lot of harm and abuse and lies and governments deceiving, and so I bought into that, and that's what really kept me going on the path. But that's not like that for everyone. Everyone's different. Everyone ends up reeled into this type of situation for different reasons. Different things will resonate with people, and they will tap into what resonates you at the very beginning. When you do the 9-day Avatar course, you have to fit in a personality profile at the beginning. So they know everything about you at the very beginning. They know what makes you tick. They know what your problems are and your issues. And I can tell you, they keep a record of that. And I know that for a fact when I left, because they had a record on me, which was actually used against me when I was leaving. But they have a record of everything. So they know what makes you tick. At the very beginning and throughout your whole Avatar course. The trainer will know everything about you. There's no secrets in Avatar, so you'll be discussed with the QMs, and you'll be discussed with the AIs, and there's no, no matter what sort of past you've had, whether it's being abusive or whatever it is, that will be discussed kind of just freely within the Avatar network. It's not confidential. So that's important to note as well. So again, getting back to fear. So I'm going back to where we're at the Avatar Masters. and you'll have to intern. Even if you pass with flying colours, you have to intern, and you have to pay an intern fee. And that's every single course that you will do after doing Avatar Masters, no exceptions. And the only time that will change is if you become a qualified master, which is rare and extremely hard work. And I will argue you have to really have your personality stripped down and built up, and stripped down and built up until you are at a stage of such loyalty to Harry and Ava and to the cause and to the mission, and you have bought into the whole enlightened and even intergalactic kind of mission. So otherwise you have to pay for your intern fees, and there are stories of people still paying back their intern fees, people borrowing money of other Avatar masters that have access to existing assets, or people with assets that they're kind of exploiting to keep people on the path, not just to get you to advanced courses, but to keep you interning as well. So again, back to fear. So the fear that is ignited in you straight away at the master's course and continued is that if you stop staying on the path, so the path being interning and progressing with the courses, you'll fall back to sleep, and you'll forget everything that you learned. So you'll lose everything that you've learned. So you have to keep going. So don't even, spend 2 or 3 days at home contemplating it or thinking it. Just keep going. Keep signing the next, disclaimer to move you on to the next course. Keep signing up for the next courses and paying your intern fees. And this is a fear that gets deeper and more ingrained as you get further into the group. So there is this fear that you are going to fall back to sleep, that you're no longer going to be on the path to enlightenment. Those outside the group are considered asleep. Your family and friends, if they're not supportive, will be considered asleep. And if you've really bought into this whole agenda, so if I just take my situation, for example, they really sort of played on my whole, I wanted to really help humanity. That's something it's still within me. It's always been within me. It's not within me now to the terms of that amount of illusion and to the state of where I lose everyone and everything. That's not where it is now. But I've always had that within me. And so if there was any kind of like not progressing, or I left actually for a few months the first time, there will be a rumour spread about you how you are not taking care for humanity, or there's something you're not willing to face. But for me, it was always from the trainer how I wasn't willing to take responsibility for humanity. Another thing that was used with me a lot as well, and I've seen this used with those that are very dedicated, which is what I find concerning because I can now see the manipulation. It's how much responsibility are you willing to take? It depends how much responsibility you're willing to take. So if you're someone that wants to be seen as taking responsibility and you want to help and you care, these things are just used more and more to kind of keep you going. And then there becomes more and more that fear of falling back to sleep if you leave the group as well. Another thing that would be played against you as well is the fact that throughout your avatar journey, it's more than likely you're going to get some opposition from your friends and family and business colleagues. Not everyone, but the majority of people, because they get concerned. You're having blatant personality changes. No matter what avatar masters present to you, I would say 95% of them, their lives aren't what they present to you. So be very wary of that. They will seem to be very happy to have it together, to be successful. It's changed their lives, while their lives really are falling apart behind the scenes, or it's not quite what they are telling you. So just be very mindful of that. And what will happen a lot is that if friends and family start kicking up a fuss or they're really concerned, we will be told that first of all, we have to lift our intention. We're not working hard enough. Our intention isn't strong enough. Also, we'll be reminded that they're the ones that are asleep. They're the ones that are not willing to take responsibility for humanity. So that's why they're kicking up a fuss, is because they're not willing to take responsibility. So again, you start to see that divide. And subtly over years, you can start to see some of the AI QMs and trainers beginning to separate from their friends and family. I had this explanation to me given when I was leaving, that those that were more dedicated to giving up their lives for humanity, they'd given up their lives for the bigger picture and for the mission, and then it was all about alignment to the group and what is best for the group. So it's really important to make this point, because this is what you're being brought into. This is what you're being brought into the moment you step into the world of Avatar. And that doesn't matter if you've come in through a business network, a school, a college, a friendship, wherever it is you've come, a Mind Body Spirit Festival. These are the intentions of the QMs and trainers. And this is how you subtly can see how one moment it seems very empowering and great and it can help you, but as you get further and further in, it turns into something else. I also want to make the point about how I've spoken to quite a few, especially those that have been higher up within Avatar, how this fear and also guilt is what prevents people from leaving. So it can take them years to leave because they're just being so manipulated. So to begin with, there's that fear that they will really fall back to sleep. They're going to be lesser beings. They're no longer part of the elite few. So within Avatar, as you move in, and Harry Palmer even mentions this in his videos, if you're up for some analysis, how, you know, some people have signed an ancient pact before they came to planet Earth, and they are part of the elite few to help awaken humanity. And you'll find that as you get further and further into this group, you will be seen as the elite few, and you will be love bombed like crazy if they see that in you. Absolutely love bombed. And as you get further in, it turns on its head, and you will be knocked down and ridiculed or reminded that what you just did then just, you know, had a big impact on the group and how you're ruining the mission. And this specifically does happen when people are trying to leave, or something's happened and they're completely blanked. So there'll be this fear within them of leaving, that they're going to become lesser beings, that they've actually have ruined the mission. I mean, I hear that a lot, like the confusion that they have actually ruined the mission. It's all to do with them. It's their fault. They're to blame. They've messed it up. Which is really wrong, and again not presented at the beginning when people are undertaking Avatar. There's also a lot of guilt used as well, that you're letting down the group, you're letting down the side. Some people who I have heard who haven't wanted to progress to Wizards the last year, or progress in general and wanted to leave, will just get absolutely badgered by QMs on demand of the trainers. I have to say, they are doing the dirty work, like they're being badgered to do it, but it doesn't matter, they're still doing it, and they will badger them, and they will phone them, and they will manipulate them, and they don't care if it's also creating a divide in their family. They do not care already if they're beginning to go bankrupt, or they really, really just do not want to do it anymore. They want time out. They will create that divide. They will then create some sort of, like, you know, the family or the loved one of being the enemy, and they will encourage you to keep taking mini courses in between courses until again you're really back into the group, and you're back, you see a different perspective, and you sign up to the Wizards course, or you continue doing the intern program. So again, I want to remind everyone as well about how the beliefs change at this stage as well. So the stage of AI, especially QMs and trainers, I didn't realise just how bad this was until I had left, and all the stories that have come in from those that have been higher up, is that romantic love, marriage, careers, even spending time on ourselves, our health, self-care outside of the group, those that have been very sick and needed time out have been prevented. Those that have fallen in love have been prevented. Even having children kind of gets prevented. Everything gets prevented because it's all about what is best for the mission and for awakening beings and for what is in alignment with Harry and Ava's agenda. So again, this is not told to you the moment you step into the world of Avatar, and these are the kind of expectations of the group, and also the need to become harsher and more domineering. So we see it as more harsher and more domineering and heartless, very heartless as they get to QAnon. The QAnon will not see it from that perspective. They see it from what they have been indoctrinated with from Avra and for Harry, and that is from having a guardian heart. And they see it actually as like defending the mission and defending Avatar. And you will defend with all your might the more you get into this agenda. So it will become literally like you give up everything, even your integrity, everything, for the sake of Avra and Harry's agenda and for the bigger picture and for awakening beings. So I may have gone off slightly there, but I just feel like this information is really important because this is, again, I've spoken about it before, is what is termed deceptive recruitment and deception, because you have no idea this is the agenda that you're being brought into. This is the agenda children are being brought into at the beginning. It's not about belief management. That is the package. That's the sort of like the front. It completely changes as you get further in. Fear is used to control you if you no longer want to progress. Guilt is used to control you if you no longer progress. And I just want to say to those Avatar masters that have left and that are healing, and I know it can take years, that really none of this is your fault, and you weren't to blame for the tools not working, or you weren't to blame for the mission not doing, not panning out the way it should, which is what I've heard as well. You're not to blame for creating a dent or a divide within the group. Like, this is cultish behaviour. This is a cult. And I think that's clear to see the more we begin to unravel this. And I will begin to unravel it even further. It's why I refer a lot to cult experts and those that have examined thousands and thousands of cults, because they all have a similar type of thought reform programming. They all use fear, they use guilt, they use they're manipulative and they're sly. They sift and they sort. They'll turn one person against another. They know, that this all happens within Avatar behind the scenes. That they'll have what comes out of their mouth is different to what the intention is being held. So, and again, because of this whole guardian heart and guardian office within Avatar, they'll lie and they'll completely say what isn't true in order to defend Avatar, because it's about what is best for the bigger picture. And if it's the best for the bigger picture, then you'll say it even if it's not true, because you're defending Avatar. So that's all I want to say about that, and I will continue again, as I say, to dissect it. And thank you for listening, and I just hope this helps you if you're deciding or contemplating doing Avatar and staying on the path, or maybe you are already on the path and some things to you do not make sense and they're a bit confusing. There's a lot of contradictions. There's a lot of contradiction in Avatar. I hope this just helps you to get a better understanding.